Well, hello, boys and girls. Welcome to When I Feel Like It O'Clock, post Rum o'clock. Uh, I hope you're having your rum o'clocks as well this AM. Um, I, uh, I've been kind of slacking a little bit, mostly because I've been partaking in the Well Lube Twister finals. It was a wonderful event, a barn burner between the Lamont Lumineers and the Mornville Moist Bottoms. Lamont pulled it out at the end, though. They won 73 to 72. Um, it was a long event, obviously, but an enjoyable one at that. And I'm glad to say that the Lamont Lumineers brought home the Pearls of Wisdom necklace that is given to everybody even in that wins the final event. All their names are engraved, and it's just an amazing event. I hope one day you can all see it. We're gonna try to get it televised next year. Um, so we're on to the second round and the round of the playoffs, and the previous round, I was accurate fairly well. Well, of course, as I've mentioned, probably more than you would like to care, I picked the Preds to beat Chicago. uh, and I didn't predict that there'd be a sweep, though. Man, Chicago looked totally, I don't know. They looked aggravated through the whole thing. Even Taves, like, they just looked totally aggravated. I don't know exactly what was going on in that room or what was happening, but it just wasn't happening for them at all. I didn't think it was going to be that bad. I thought Nashville's um, possession game and transition game would win them over because of the type of team Chicago is. And fortunately, I was correct on that. The Ottawa series, I picked Boston for a buddy of mine who I said was Mars Volta, but his name is Mars Nova, not Volta. Mars Nova Volta was a kind of a rock band from the 80s and wasn't very good. So I want to correct that. His band is The Worship. He's a huge Boston fan. I really believed Ottawa was going to win, but I wanted to give him props. So I kind of got that one right. Um, St. Louis, Minnesota, my ego wouldn't allow me to go with my head. My head said St. Louis, but I chose Minnesota because I picked Minnesota to make the finals in the beginning of the year. My ego trumps my head, my heart, everything, all the time. So, um, Oilers, I did pick the Oilers to win that series. And the Rangers, I also picked. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I picked Montreal to beat the Rangers. I thought they could score just enough for Carey Price, but apparently not. Carey Price at a 1.86 and I think a 9.45 or something, same percent. No, I think it was 9.30, and they still lost. That team needs offense, but good thing they got Martin in, or whatever the hell his name is, and Shaw. Good thing he picked up Shaw. That was a nice pickup. Yeah. Okay, so we're on to the second round, and I have this first one, I meditated for hours on end. Um, I even went and did a sweat with Mrs. Beavertooth and um, spoke to the creator at its closest level and came up with the Preds in seven. But it was tough because the Preds aren't going to have the same easy time as they did with Chicago. The Blues have almost a mirror type game as they do. Um, I almost went with St. Louis because I don't really like Fisher being your second line center for the Preds. He's more of a third line at this stage of his career. But St. Louis isn't all that deep up the middle either. Stastny and not Bergeron. Oh, you know his name. I can't remember it for the life of me. But they're not all that deep. As you can tell, if I can't remember their second line center's name, probably isn't the deepest lineup up the middle. Now, St. Louis is much deeper on the wings. And defense, top four, I give it to the Preds. St. Louis's depth, I kind of give them the edge, and their top three ain't too bad. Parelko, Pietrangelo, and Bouwmeester is pretty darn good as well. And then, of course, it comes down to Allen and Rene. Rene is playing out of his mind. He's playing like he used to play before when he was had Trotz as a coach. It looks like Laviolette has been able to maybe do something there to tap into whatever Trotz did, but he's on fire. Allen, after having his struggles with Hitchcock as his coach, as a lot of coaches do, has Yo. And by the way, coaches wise, it's pretty much a wash. Yo is a fantastic coach, and so is Laviolette. But now the question is, Allen has had problems with his consistency, but when Rene gets hot, he's usually hot for a long time. So I'm kind of giving the edge to the Preds, but I could definitely see the Blues winning this. Oilers and Ducks. I hate to say this because I, as you know, am an Oilers fan, but I'm taking the Ducks in 6, and that's just simply because they have the experience. I think that's going to come out at the in the end here. The Oilers have so much speed, but the Ducks aren't as slow as San Jose, and they're savvy. So I think they're going to pull it out mostly because their top four is fantastic. That being said, Fowler sounds like he's out, and Vananen is day to day, they say, but if he's not in, I switch it to the Oilers. But if they have Vananen, Manson, Lindholm, I think they'll likely take it. But this will be your last year, Anaheim, because I think the Oilers are going to be ripping it up next year. Rangers and Senators. The Senators' defense is just a ragtag bunch, and they're doing all right. But if you got Wideman in your top four, yeah, I'm not too confident. I picked the Rangers actually to miss the playoffs and to not make it out of the first round. I always get the Rangers wrong because it's a bias. I don't like I don't like large market teams that have all the advantages in the world. I don't like them. And that's just true. And that's the reason why. But I have to pick the Rangers here. Their offensive depth is way too deep for the Senators. Their defense is one of the few teams in the playoffs right now that they have a better defense than. And goaltending, I mean, in every category, they pretty much went out. Although I love Anderson, I mean, Lundqvist is just Lundqvist. So I'm taking the Rangers, and I'm taking them in 5, actually. Fairly easy for them. Pens and Caps. This is going to be the barn burner, guys. I would love to see the... I don't know. I picked the Caps to win it all, so my ego wins. In right off the get go, I picked the Caps because my ego wins over anything else. So I'm going to be taking the Caps, and I think I'm taking them in 7. The Pens, if they would have had Letang, maybe they had a chance, but I still think the Caps are going to win. 7 might even be generous about this. By the way, the Oilers and the Ducks is really rough because my ego I'm going against my ego here, which is very, very, very rare. I picked the Ducks to just blow the first round this year, and they didn't. But like in the beginning of the season, I picked them to blow the first round, but they didn't. So it's going to be tough because my heart is for the Oilers now, and my ego is for the Ducks because I picked them. My ego might not win this because I am a pretty big Oilers fan. Anyways, boys and girls, make sure you're well lubed, as we all know. Keep yourself well lubed, boys and girls. Check out the rest of my videos at My NHL Pearls of Wisdom on the YouTube. I haven't been getting much activity there. Now. Get some activity. Go see it. Go check it out. Go check out the pearls. That's all I got for you today. That's my full 42%. Lots of love to you.